We're live from New Delhi, watching DD India News, India's voice to the world. I'm Lipakshi Khurana. Coming up in the next hour. Prime Minister Narendra Modi to hold talks with Fiji Prime Minister Sitiveni Rabuka on issues of mutual interest in New Delhi. Visiting Prime Minister also to call on President Draupadi Murmu. Prime Minister Modi to dedicate to the nation multiple development projects in Gujarat's Ahmedabad to flag off Suzuki's first global battery electric vehicle, e-Vitara, for export to over 100 countries. US President Trump to host South Korean President Lee Jae-myung in White House for summit talks. Trade, tariff and defense cooperation on agenda. First visit of South Korean leader since assuming office. Typhoon Kajiki drenches southern China's Hainan Island. Businesses, public transit shut in coastal Sanya. Thousands evacuated in central provinces of Vietnam ahead of expected landfall. And on to the details now. The Prime Minister of the Republic of Fiji, Sitiveni Rabuka, who is on a 3-day visit to India, will hold talks with Prime Minister Narendra Modi today. Prime Minister Modi will host a lunch in honor of the visiting dignitary. The visiting Prime Minister is also scheduled to call on Indian President Draupadi Murmu in the national capital. Prime Minister Rabuka's visit underscores the long-standing and enduring ties between India and Fiji. It reaffirms the continued commitment of both the countries to further strengthen the bilateral relationship across all sectors and deepen our close people-to-people ties. Early on Sunday, Union Minister of Health and Family Welfare J.P. Nadda met Fiji Prime Minister. During the meeting, the Fijian Prime Minister was accompanied by the Minister of Health and Medical Services of Fiji, Ratu Antonio Lala Belavu, and other senior officials. And Prime Minister Narendra Modi will embark on a 2-day visit to Gujarat on Monday. Prime Minister Modi will inaugurate, dedicate and lay foundation stones for multiple development projects worth over 5,400 crore rupees, spanning across sectors like urban development, energy, roads and railways.
Prime Minister Narendra Modi will address a massive public gathering at Kodal Dham ground in Ahmedabad in Gujarat on 25th August. He will also inaugurate multiple projects aimed at boosting infrastructure, connectivity and sustainable development across Gujarat. In the energy sector, projects worth over rupees 1,000 crore under the Uttar Gujarat Wijh Company Limited will be inaugurated. These aim to modernize Gujarat's power distribution network.
गुजरात की जनता को बहुत उत्साह है कि देश के यशस्वी प्रधानमंत्री जब भी गुजरात आते हैं तो खाली हाथ नहीं आते हैं, कुछ न कुछ भेंट सौगा दे, डेवलपमेंट की, विकास की भेंट सौगा दे और लोगों को देकर जाते हैं.
PM Modi's visit will also give fillip to projects worth over rupees 1,400 crore in the railway sector, including the doubling of the 65-kilometer Mehsana-Palanpur rail line, gauge conversion of critical stretches, and the launch of a passenger train.
In a faster way, people can go to the Rajasthan part and the North India part. Second is Kalol to Katosan. This line was earlier in the meter gauge. During 15 or 16, this has been closed. And the pace of making this, the contract of this was finalized in 23rd of December. And in a year time, it has been completed.
The Prime Minister will also launch urban development initiatives under the Pradhan Mantri Awas Yojana urban scheme, improving slum rehabilitation, water management and sewage systems across Ahmedabad.
Prime Minister Narendra Modi's visit to Gujarat is set to give a new direction to the state's industrial and urban development. From roads to railways and from housing to electric vehicles, this visit of Prime Minister Narendra Modi is not only going to give benefit to the common people, but also boost the state's economy. With camera person Lakshman Rajput, this is Migrant, Day 40 India from Ahmedabad, Gujarat.
And Prime Minister Narendra Modi will also inaugurate two significant initiatives at Suzuki Motors Hansalpur plant during his Gujarat visit. Prime Minister Modi will flag off the e-Vitara, Suzuki's first ever global battery electric vehicle manufactured in India. This Made in India BEV will be exported to over 100 countries, including advanced markets like Europe and Japan. Well, Prime Minister Modi will also inaugurate the next phase of India's battery ecosystem, starting with local production of hybrid battery electrodes at the TDS lithium-ion battery plant in Gujarat. These milestones mark a new era for Make in India and Atmanirbhar Bharat, positioning India as a global hub for electric mobility.
This is the first global manufacturing for Suzuki for BEVs, and it will be shipped to about more than 100 countries of the world, including advanced countries like in Europe or Japan. The economic cooperation extends to far beyond just industrial infrastructure. It's also about social infrastructure. The state of Gujarat has a natural advantage for exports because of its proximity to the ports, and it has some of the high quality ports with this infrastructure helping us for exports to many countries of the world.
And moving on, Chief of Army Staff General Upendra Dwivedi is on official visit to Algeria, marking his first overseas engagement since the success of Operation Sindoor. General Upendra Dwivedi began his official visit to Algeria with a welcome dinner hosted by Ambassador Dr. Swati Vijay Kulkarni, attended by Algerian dignitaries. While the visit underscores a shared commitment to deepening mutual understanding, enhancing cooperation in areas of common interest, and advancing bilateral defense cooperation between the two nations. The visit also highlights India's growing commitment to strategic defense partnerships and underscores the Indian Army's expanding diplomatic role on the global stage. The trip follows close on the heels of the recent visit of the Chief of Defense Staff of Algiers to India. An Indian astronaut, Shubhanshu Shukla, who returned after touching the heights of space, has reached his hometown Lucknow on Monday, where he was given a warm welcome by State's Deputy Chief Minister Brajesh Pathak. Shubhanshu Shukla reached Lucknow Airport in the morning. Well, receiving a grand welcome from the people of Lucknow, Group Captain Shubhanshu Shukla held a massive road show. State's Chief Minister Yogi Adityanath will also felicitate Shukla in a grand ceremony organized by the Uttar Pradesh government under the Department of Science and Technology. Although Shukla arrived in India from the US on August 17th, he's visiting Lucknow now after participating in multiple outreach events, including meeting Prime Minister Narendra Modi on August 18th. Also, Shubhanshu Shukla will visit his alma mater, the City Montessori School, Lucknow, who has organized a grand victory parade to celebrate his achievement. While in June, Shukla became the first Indian to reach the International Space Station, and his Axiom Mission 4, carried out with international partners, was hailed across the nation for providing vital experience and strengthening India's ambitions for its upcoming human space flight program, Gaganyaan. And moving on, ADAPT, formerly known as the Spastic Society of India, has launched a new academic journal on inclusion and disability. The event was attended by several prominent dignitaries, including former Chief Justice of India, D.Y. Chandrachud. Launching the Journal of Inclusion and Disability, Justice Chandrachud called it a turning point in India's journey towards inclusiveness, linking medical advances with a vision for a just society. Well, he emphasized that while India has strong laws such as the Rights of Persons with Disabilities Act, what is most needed is a change in mentality to elevate persons with disabilities in education, public spaces and transportation.
I think this journal brings together a combination of the lived experiences of persons with disability with raw data, science and rationality. So it combines knowledge with lived experience. And that's why this journal is so special.
Well, Ambassador of India to Panama, Costa Rica and Nicaragua, Dr. Sumit Seth, met the Health Minister of Nicaragua, Dr. Ofelia Maria Villalobos, on Sunday. Promotion of Ayurveda in Nicaragua, scholarships and training and cooperation at multilateral fora discussed during the meeting. Discussions were also held on Jaipur Foot Camp in the North American country. Also, to further strengthen ties between India and Nicaragua, the first Ayurvedic formulation registered in the North American nation. Also, an Indian Ayurvedic pharmaceutical company has registered and commercialized its first product in Nicaragua. This marks a new journey for India's traditional Ayurvedic knowledge among the people of Nicaragua. And in a tragic incident reported in North Indian state of Uttar Pradesh early on Monday morning, at least 8 people were killed and over 40 others injured when a truck rammed into a tractor trolley carrying pilgrims in Bulandshahr district in the early hours. The tractor trolley was carrying over 60 people who were travelling from Kasganj district to Rajasthan for a pilgrimage. Uttar Pradesh Chief Minister Yogi Adityanath offered condolences to families of the deceased. The UP CM took cognizance of the accident and has directed the district administration officials to provide all medical assistance to the injured. He also wished a speedy recovery of the injured. And moving on, the Ukrainian cities are in ruins. The people and soldiers are facing unimaginable trauma as the conflict with Russia rages on. Amidst this gloom, Sri Sri Ravi Shankar's art of living is proving to be a glimmer of hope. When Ukrainian officers first walked into the Art of Living trauma relief sessions, the sight was devastating. Well, after learning Art of Living's breathing and meditation techniques, the officers reported feeling calm, relaxed, centered and secure. The impact has been so profound that Ukraine's military leadership publicly recognized Sri Sri's work and presented him with an honorary award. The Art of Living program has equipped Ukrainian military leaders with adaptive leadership skills and the ability to make strategic decisions in high-risk, unpredictable conditions. The Ukrainian military has called this support a key factor in the successful completion of missions and the protection of lives. And still to come on DD India News Hour. 4 astronauts selected for India's first manned space mission Gaganyaan honoured by IAF and Defence Minister Rajnath Singh. We'll also give you the weather updates from around the country. And nature's fury all across the globe as raging wildfires ravage many parts of the continent.
The land of forests, nature's hidden jewel. Jharkhand is a traveler's paradise. Get ready for a sensory extravaganza, complete with ancient traditions and world-class lifestyles, breathtaking scenic beauties and heart-stopping adventure. Thousands of years of faith preserved in magnificent temples, marvels of new age infrastructure.
Can I resist?
An abundance of prehistoric heritage flowing through generations.
I've heard so much about the expertise behind this vibrant Sorai art.
Discover new horizons. Discover yourself. Discover Jharkhand. Postcards from Jharkhand on National Geographic.
Welcome back. You're watching DD India News. I'm Lipakshi Khurana, and moving on, in a major boost to India's defence capabilities, the country has successfully completed the maiden flight test of its integrated air defence weapon system developed by the Defence Research and Development Organisation. This multi-layered system is set to revolutionise India's ability to defend its airspace. Diptanshu Kashyap tells us more on this.
India's Defence Research and Development Organisation DRDO has successfully conducted the maiden flight test of its integrated air defence weapon system off the coast of Odisha. This cutting-edge multi-layered system includes indigenous quick reaction surface-to-air missiles, advanced very short-range air defence missiles and a high-power laser-based directed energy weapon. The system engaged and neutralized multiple targets, including unmanned aerial vehicles and drones across a range of altitudes and distances, demonstrating its effectiveness in real-world conditions. Minister of Defence Rajnath Singh congratulated DRDO, the Indian Armed Forces and the defence industry for the successful development of the IADWS. He emphasized that the flight test has firmly established India's multi-layered air defence capabilities, enhancing protection for vital facilities against aerial threats. Dr. Samir V. Kamath, Secretary of the Department of Defence R&D and Chairman of DRDO, also commended the teams involved for their outstanding efforts in achieving this milestone. The quick reaction surface-to-air missiles are designed for rapid deployment with minimal delay. Equipped with phase array radar, the system offers 120 kilometers of surveillance and 80 kilometers of tracking range. Capable of engaging multiple targets, including aircraft, UAVs, and helicopters, it operates effectively under all weather conditions. Additionally, this is highly mobile, transportable by road, rail, and air, and features advanced electronic countermeasures to counteract electronic warfare. The Advanced Very Short Range Air Defence System is a portable, quick deployment solution designed to counter low-altitude threats. Featuring a dual waveband infrared seeker for precise targeting, the system excels in challenging terrains like Ladakh and Siachen. Indigenously developed, it enhances India's self-reliance and strengthens its air defence, providing protection against aircraft, UAVs, and helicopters. The directed energy weapon utilizes high-power laser technology to disable airborne threats. With its advanced deterrence capabilities, it is becoming an essential part of modern defense strategies globally. As a platform-based system, it strengthens India's defense capabilities, offering an innovative approach to neutralizing aerial targets. The successful maiden flight tests of the IADWS represent a significant leap in India's defense capabilities. By reducing reliance on foreign technology, this system enhances India's self-reliance while offering multi-layered protection for critical assets. It not only safeguards against emerging aerial threats, but also strengthens India's geopolitical position as a formidable power in the region. Diptanshu Kashyap's report for DD India.
And moving on, the 4 astronauts selected by India for its first manned mission to space were honoured by the Indian Air Force and Defence Minister Rajnath Singh on Sunday. The 4 group captains of the Air Force, including Group Captain Shubhanshu Shukla, were also congratulated by the Air Force Chief, Air Chief Marshal AP Singh. Group Captain Shukla became the second Indian in space when he spent more than 2 weeks in the orbit.
This gathering today is actually a celebration of India's triumphant return to human spaceflight. It's a matter of immense pride for us that it has been one of us who has been able to take our beloved Tiranga back into space. But this achievement also reminds us that the path to space cannot be forged by one person, one service, or one organization alone. It is the result of the collective resolve and will of our scientific community, the armed forces, and indeed the entire nation, all united in their vision and achievements. For all the young children and students who have assembled here, I would like to just say that you are not just witnesses to this journey. You are actually the future travelers on this path.
जब हमने गिननी शुरू करी तो तकरीबन 3000 ऐसी चीजें हैं जो कि ह्यूमन के लिए हमें बनानी पड़ेंगी, और क्योंकि ये टेक्नोलॉजी पूरे विश्व में कोई देश किसी दूसरे से नहीं शेयर करता, तो ये हमें खुद बनानी पड़ेंगी। और खुद बनाना कितना कठिन है, खुद बनाना कितना अहम है, और खुद बनाना कितना वक्त लेता है, ये समझाने के लिए मैं अगली चीज आपको बताऊंगा। जब चयन किया गया हमारे गगन यात्रियों का, तो जॉनसन स्पेस सेंटर जो कि अमेरिका के लिए काम करता है, उसमें 3200 लोग हैं। रूस में जो रॉसकॉस्मॉस करता है, उसमें करीब 7000 लोग हैं। मेरे पास कुल जमा 100 लोग थे, उसमें जो लोग इसमें इन्वॉल्व थे वो 14 लोग थे।
And Ayodhya is gearing up to celebrate Ganesh Chaturthi with preparations underway in full swing. Artisans meticulously crafting the idols of Lord Ganesh. Local pandals are being decorated with lights and flowers. Authorities are ensuring smooth traffic flow and safety measures to manage the crowds during the 10-day-long festivities. And some global weather updates now. First up from India, heavy rains battered Himachal Pradesh on Sunday, triggering floods and landslides, with 484 roads closed and forecast of heavy showers until 30th of August. In Kullu's Senj Valley, Garshala Nala overflowed as streams dumped silt and mud into homes, causing major disruptions. Kangra's Indora saw Bias River in full spate near Punjab's Pathankot, flooding roads and houses. Residents sheltered indoors as administration provided aid. The state capital of Shimla's weather department issued orange alerts for heavy to very heavy rain in the 10 districts. Schools and colleges are closed statewide, with over 298 monsoon deaths reported. 500 routes have been blocked amid power outages. Enhanced activity peaks on August 26th and yellow warnings persist. Also, torrential overnight rainfall battered Jammu, inundating low-lying areas, damaging several houses, roads. Authorities in Jammu and Kashmir have issued advisories amid an IMD alert for moderate to heavy rainfall across the Union Territory. The Weather Department has issued an alert for intense rainfall with possibility of cloudburst, flash floods and landslides in high-altitude areas till August 27th. Also, torrential rains wreaked havoc across West India's Rajasthan, leaving large parts of the state waterlogged and disrupting daily life. Several areas in Bundi, Savai Madhopur and Kota districts are facing flood-like situations where rescue and relief works are underway. Also, the worsening situation has led to the deployment of army personnel along with teams from the National Disaster Response Force and State Disaster Response Force to conduct rescue and relief work. The Weather Centre has predicted that the heavy rain may continue in some areas of the state for the next 3 to 4 days. And for more on the weather, we are joined by Muskan from Shimla and Lakshay Arya from Jaipur. Well, Muskan, my first question to you, what's the present situation there right now as an orange alert has been issued?
Continuing over this state, rainfall has caused multiple landslides and flash flood-like situation in many areas of the state. Talking about the flood-like situation, Kangra district is the district which has been affected severely from the last night rainfall. Areas like Indora, Fatehpur, Noorpur are the areas which are facing a lot of flood-like situation right now. Especially in Indora, Ward number 2 and Ward number 3 are completely submerged. NDRF has been deployed in the area and they have rescued almost 11 people. More than 300 houses are being affected right now. The water and the silt has entered the houses and NDRF are doing their best to rescue the people and to take them to the safer place. And if I'm talking about the damage that has been done by the rainfall in the state since last night, the national highway has been affected. The Chandigarh-Manali National Highway is closed in few areas. The National Highway 305 is closed. Almost 400 roads all over the state are closed. 81 water supplies and water supply schemes and almost 91 power transmission is affected in the monsoon season so far. The Meteorological Department has issued a heavy rainfall alert for the state today, and the 6 districts are under the orange alert. And keeping in the mind the heavy rainfall alert, administration has advised all the educational institutions to be closed in the 8 districts, which includes Shimla, Mandi, Kullu, Chamba, Hamirpur, Kangra and Bilateral.
Lakshay, I would like to know what's the current weather condition there right now after heavy spells of rain lashing Kota and Bundi. Tell us about the relief and rescue operations also there.
Absolutely, Rajasthan is receiving heavy rainfall and situation are currently adverse in some of the districts, due to which the high alert has been issued in several districts, including 16 major districts of Rajasthan. So in coming days, even the situation is not going to get normal. As per the IMD, in coming 2 days till 27th of August, the state is likely to receive heavy rainfall, due to which major educational institutions has been shut down. The advisory has been issued to keep the educational institute, including the Anganwadis, including the schools, colleges, shut down in the major districts of Rajasthan. So in more than 19 districts, the district collectors, district magistrate has issued an advisory to keep the educational institution shut down as per the current situation, as per the flood-like situation. If I talk about the major districts, including the Kota, Udaipur and major districts like the Jhalawad, the flood-like situation has adversely affected the common life. The water has entered the houses. The major districts and some of the villages were seen to be submerged. So currently the Rajasthan is looking as an crippling connectivity, submerged villages. But parallelly, the NDRF and SDRF team are playing an eminent role. The 57 teams of SDRF and 7 teams of SDRF has been deployed. The army personnel has been deployed in the state. Yeah.
All right, Lakshay and Muskan, thank you so much for those details. And in global weather updates, Vietnam has shut down airports, closed schools and begun mass evacuations as it prepares for the most powerful storm so far this year, Typhoon Kajiki. The country has evacuated lakhs of residents from central provinces including Thanh Hoa, Quang Tri, Hui and Da Nang as Typhoon Kajiki intensifies with winds reaching 180 km per hour, akin to last year's devastating Yagi that caused $3.3 billion in damages and 300 deaths. Typhoon Kajiki, which is expected to make landfall on Monday, is the fifth to hit Vietnam and 13th in the region in 2025 alone. It has brushed southern China's Hainan Island, prompting 20,000 evacuations and closures in Sanya, including businesses, transport and attractions amid up to 400 mm of rainfall. And as climate change intensifies global weather patterns, extreme events are ravaging multiple continents this August 2025. From devastating floods to raging wildfires, scientists warn these disasters are becoming more frequent and severe due to human-induced warming. No more in this report.
Extreme weather events have swept the world. In Pakistan's Punjab, the Satluj River's high flood has submerged villages in Kasur and other districts, with over 120 deaths in the province and 788 nationwide since June. Rescue teams have evacuated 20,000 in last 24 hours. However, many resist leaving livestock amid crop losses. Red alerts forecast more rains till September 10th, risking flash floods in Khyber Pakhtunkhwa and Sindh. Yemen's Aden faces its worst floods in years, with torrential rains killing 8, including children, in Al Haswa and Bir Ahmed suburbs. With hundreds of homes collapsed, vehicles submerged, heavy rains have displaced thousands in Yemen. As of now, over 90% people have been evacuated to schools as civil defense warns of ongoing heavy rains amid Yemen's crises. Across the Pacific, wildfires scorch the U.S. West. California's Picket Fire in Napa has grown to 6,803 acres at 11% contained, forcing evacuations in Wine Country with 1,200 firefighters deployed. Oregon's Flat Fire nears 22,000 acres, 0% contained, threatening 3,900 homes under unhealthy air. Extreme heat fuels the blazes. In Europe, Spain endured its most intense heat wave on record from August 3rd to 18th, with temperatures 4.6 degrees above average, exacerbating wildfires that burned 400,000 acres, killing 4. Portugal reported 4 deaths, 278,000 hectares scorched. EU aid helps contain flames as heat eases. These linked calamities, floods from heavier monsoons, fires from prolonged heat, underscore a climate urgency, and swift action is required to address the changes happening all across the globe. Bureau Report, DD India.
And still to come on DD India News. Russia and Ukraine exchanged 146 prisoners each in UAE mediated swap, bringing long-awaited reunions. Anti-migrant protests erupt in East London as tensions rise over immigration policies and asylum seeker. And Erin Patterson faces sentencing for triple murder after toxic mushroom case made headlines all over.
Jharkhand will mesmerize you with majestic nature, rich heritage and colorful culture.
Hello. Johar. Johar. It fits perfectly.
Thank you.
Full workout ho gaya.
Ready?
Postcards from Jharkhand on National Geographic.
Welcome back. You're watching DD India News. I'm Lipakshi Khurana, and moving on, South Korea's President Lee Jae-myung and US President Donald Trump will meet at the White House on Monday for the first summit talks. Lee wrapped up his two-day visit to Japan on Sunday with a meeting of lawmakers from the Japan-Korea Parliamentarians Union before departing for Washington, D.C. The Lee-Trump talks are expected to focus on follow-up details from last month's tariff deal as well as sensitive issues including defense, cooperation and the future posture of U.S. troops stationed in Korea. The two leaders are also expected to hammer out details of the broad trade agreement that lowered the U.S. reciprocal tariffs on Korean goods to 15% from 25% in return for Seoul's $350 billion investment pledges and other commitments. Well, after the White House talks, Lee will attend a business roundtable with top corporate executives from both the countries and deliver a speech at the Center for Strategic and International Studies. And some updates on Russia-Ukraine conflict now. Russia and Ukraine exchanged 146 prisoners from each side on Sunday after mediation by the United Arab Emirates. The Ukrainian military issued a statement confirming that a total of 146 prisoners from each side had been swapped. The Russian ministry said all of the freed Russians were in Belarus receiving psychological and medical assistance. Ukraine also returned to Moscow 8 Russian citizens, residents of the Kursk region, the ministry said. Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky announced that the exchange had taken place but gave no figures. The president posted pictures of smiling returnees, saying most of them had been in captivity since 2022. Zelensky thanked the United Arab Emirates for its role in overseeing the swap. Well, Ukraine's President Volodymyr Zelensky insisted on Sunday that a meeting with the Russian counterpart Vladimir Putin remained the most effective way forward. Zelensky said that the format of talks between leaders is the most effective way forward, renewing calls for a bilateral summit with Putin as the two sides exchanged prisoners and the country celebrated Independence Day. Zelensky also said that Ukrainian troops had recaptured 3 villages in its Donetsk region that had fallen under Russian control, and Ukraine launched drone strikes on Russia, triggering a fire at a nuclear power plant. Meanwhile, Russia's foreign minister said there were no plans for a meeting between Zelensky and Putin, dealing a setback to President Donald Trump's peace efforts. Lavrov said in an interview that Putin is ready to meet with Zelensky when the agenda is ready for a summit, and this agenda is not ready at all. Lavrov also said that a group of nations, including United Nations Security Council members, should be the guarantors of Ukraine's security. Lavrov also made it clear that NATO membership for Ukraine was unacceptable for Russia.
As regards the security guarantees for Ukraine, those principles proposed by Ukrainian delegation, I underline this once again, they provided for creation a group of guarantors. This group containing of permanent members of the Security Council, Russia, US, China, UK and France, plus they mentioned Germany, Turkey and any other country which would be interested to join this group of guarantors.
Well, Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky attended a defense forum on Sunday with Canadian Prime Minister Mark Carney ahead of a possible peace deal with Russia to end the conflict. The meeting, held on Ukraine's Independence Day, included defense ministers and senior officials from a number of European countries and Canada. Attendees represented nations including Denmark, Sweden, Britain, as well as the Baltic states. The two leaders also signed an agreement on drone crow production, and Carney said Ukraine would receive more than $723 million in military aid from a previously announced package next month. Well, Carney backed Ukraine's calls for robust security guarantees as part of any peace deal, saying Canada would not rule out sending troops under such a framework. And support for Japanese Prime Minister Shigeru Ishiba surged nearly 20 percentage points, a daily newspaper public opinion poll showed on Monday, despite his ruling coalition losing its majority in July's parliamentary election. While support for Ishiba's cabinet stood at 39%, surging by 17 percentage points from last month's survey taken after the upper house election. The disapproval rate fell to 50% from July's 67%. As per the daily report, the public approval for the Prime Minister likely bounced thanks to factors such as Japan reaching a trade deal with the United States and the government's announcement of increasing rice production to counter a sharp price rise. Well, Ishiba vowed to stay in his post after the election defeat, fending off demands by some of his Liberal Democratic Party lawmakers to resign to take responsibility. And moving on, Bangladesh on Sunday called on Pakistan to resolve the long-standing historical issues, including a formal official apology for the 1971 genocide committed by Pakistan. Well, the call came during a meeting between Bangladesh Foreign Affairs Advisor Tauhid Hussain and Pakistan's Deputy Prime Minister and Foreign Minister Ishaq Dar was on a two-day official visit to Bangladesh from 23rd to 24th of August at the invitation of his Bangladeshi counterpart. Also talking to reporters after the meeting, Hussain said they raised all three unresolved issues to advance the bilateral relations further. Earlier in the day, Ishaq Dar, without seeking apology for 1971 genocide, claimed that the issues of 1971 were settled twice. Hussain disagreed with the claim made by Ishaq Dar regarding the resolution of unresolved issues from 1971. And anti-migrant protesters gathered in east of London a day after police were forced to separate demonstrators and counter-protesters in multiple cities as tensions flared over immigration policies. A court ruling on 21st of August ordered the removal of asylum seekers from the Bell Hotel in Epping, which has become a flashpoint for anti-immigration protest. With immigration polling as the public's top concern, British Prime Minister Keir Starmer's Labour government has been under pressure to deliver on its pledge to end hotel use, which is costing billions of pounds a year. On Sunday, the government said it would reform its asylum appeals process to accelerate decisions, reduce the backlog of cases, and phase out the use of hotels to house asylum seekers. Well, hundreds of migrants were rescued off Canary Islands and taken to Arguineguin port in the Gran Canaria island. A group of 248 people disembarked with the help of Spanish rescuers. Some of them received medical attention. Also, the number of migrants reaching the Canary Islands from West Africa hit an all-time high in 2024, but the number of arrivals has fallen this year by 46.7%. Also, the Atlantic route is especially dangerous as rough weather can easily capsize the fragile rafts dug out like boats and dinghies used by the most migrants. An Australian toxic mushroom killer, Erin Patterson, faces her victims' relatives in court on Monday before a judge sentences her for a triple murder that made headlines worldwide. It'll be the 50-year-old's first appearance in court since July, when a jury found Patterson guilty of murder by cooking up a beef Wellington meal laced with death cap mushrooms. She was convicted of deliberately serving the poisonous fare to her husband's parents, aunt and uncle at a sumptuous lunch in a rural home in the state of Victoria in 2023. Within days, the parents and aunt were dead. The uncle, a local pastor and the only guest to survive, spent weeks in hospital but lived to give testimony in court against his host. And moving on, Elon Musk's SpaceX on Sunday called off the launch of Starship's 10th mission from Texas over an issue at its launch site, delaying an attempt to achieve several long-sought development milestones missed due to past tests ending in early failures. Well, SpaceX did not say when it would make another launch attempt. Similar scrubs in the past have been resolved in a matter of days. And some news from around the world now. During the Angelus prayer, Pope Leo XIV voiced his deep concern and solidarity with the people of Cabo Delgado, Mozambique, who continued to suffer from ongoing violence and insecurity. The region has earlier been plagued by deadly attacks and widespread displacement. Pope offered prayers for the victims, calling for peace and an end to the suffering. Soapbox cart riders sped downhill in Belo Horizonte in Brazil on Sunday as part of the city's Virada cultural festival, drawing a huge crowd. Among the highlights was the Combina Vovozina, a wooden and metal cart built in the traditional style with wheels on ball bearings and a driver steering with their feet. Well, dozens of corgis took part in races and a costume contest in Vilnius in Lithuania on Sunday as part of the Corgi Race Vilnius 2025 festival. The event, now in its fourth year, brought together corgis and their owners from around the world for competitions and parades celebrating their love for the dogs. Over the past 4 years, Romanian collector Florina Dodu has gathered 1,000 porcelain dolls from around the world, ranging from aristocratic ladies and princesses to brides, grooms and babies. Some of the rarest pieces are valued at more than 1,000 euros, making the passion both costly and delicate. Dodu says her dream is to open a museum where the collection can be admired by the public. And time now for a short break. We'll be back in a while. Welcome back. You're watching DD India News. I'm Lipakshi Khurana, and on to some business news now. China saw a surge in new coal power in the first half of the year, even as the country added record levels of clean energy capacity. Coal has been a pivotal energy source in China for decades, but explosive growth in wind and solar installations in recent years has raised hopes that the country can wean itself off the dirty fossil fuel. Coal accounts for around half of China's power generation, down from 3/4 in 2016. Well, the world's second largest economy is the biggest emitter of greenhouse gases that drive climate change, but it is also a renewable energy powerhouse. And Indonesia's Trade Ministry on Monday urged the European Union to immediately lift countervailing duties on its biodiesel imports following a World Trade Organization panel ruling backing Jakarta on multiple claims. The panel, in its August 22nd report, found EU measures inconsistent with agreement on subsidies and countervailing measures, recommending conformity. Duties imposed in 2019 at 8 to 18% targeted alleged subsidies on palm oil-based biodiesel. Indonesia challenged them in 2023. Well, you're watching DD India News. Our time now for some sports news. The inaugural edition of the Champions League T10 concluded in Noida on Sunday. The tournament marked the successful debut of India's first ever indoor cricket league. Blending the thrill of high-octane T10 cricket with the excitement of a tennis ball format, the tournament delivered non-stop entertainment for fans. The league drew several big names from world cricket, including Ross Taylor, Tilakaratne Dilshan, Thisara Pereira, Parthiv Patel, Dan Christian and Sean Marsh. Organisers highlighted that the league was not only about cricket, but also about creating a vibrant sporting spectacle with celebrity presence and fan engagement adding to the buzz.
It's not only about the cricket, it's about the entertainment. It comes with the entire package. And overall, I have had a wonderful time. 3 days have been good. Just the guys who are playing in the middle, playing their hearts out. You can see their facial expressions. They're giving their 110%. And also, it's a dream come true for the Indian guys to play alongside the international stars in the yesteryear. For example, Dilshan, Thisara Pereira, Ross Taylor, even Parthiv Patel. So it's a win-win situation for everybody. Corporates also. This is a new venture which is new, but I'm pretty sure over the time to come, it'll be big.
इंडस्ट्री के अंदर एक बबल था जिसमें बहुत सारी लीग्स हो रही थी. कोई सेलिब्रिटीज़ अकेले खेल रहे थे, कहीं पे लोकल टैलेंट खेल रहा था, कहीं पे इन्फ्लुएंसर्स खेल रहे थे. बट एक ऐसा मंच कहीं भी नहीं था जहाँ पे जो नॉर्मल क्रिकेटर हैं उनको आइडलाइज़ करने के लिए उनका मेंटोर इंटरनेशनल कैप्टन हो, तो साथ में उसकी बैकिंग उसको सेलिब्रिटी की मिले, लाइक ए फील ऑफ IPL इन अ इंडो फॉर्मेट. तो बस इसी सब चीज़ों को फ्यूजन करके हमने एक कॉन्सेप्ट बनाया है ताकि उन नए लड़कों को जो टैलेंटेड हैं, जिनके अंदर अच्छा टैलेंट है, प्रतिभा है, वो उनको प्रतिभा दिखाने का मौका दिया है और उनको मेंटोरशिप के लिए एक कैप्टन दिया है इंटरनेशनल क्रिकेटर के रूप में, ताकि वो उनसे कुछ सीख पाएँ और अपने फ्यूचर को ब्राइट कर पाएँ.
Well, former Australian cricketer Sean Marsh hailed Australia's second biggest ODI victory against South Africa. Speaking exclusively to DD India correspondent Narayan Singh, Marsh also reflected on Chiteshwar Pujara's memorable performances against Australia.
Joining me, former Australian batter Sean Marsh. Sean, a very warm welcome. And today, a big win for the Australia against South Africa. Margin, a biggest win margin for the Australia today. And your brother is also scoring 100. How do you look this achievement?
Yeah, look, it was a nice morning just watching the score back home in Australia. And yeah, for Mitch to get 100, absolutely brilliant. And then a few of the other guys as well, Heady 140 and Cam Green bring up his first 100 as well, which was great to see.
If we talk about the Australian side, always we saw that South African side is like a nemesis for them. If you take a look at the record of the past 5 ODI series, Australia has not won against this South African side. So what's the reason behind that?
I'm not too sure. South Africa are a very strong team, so whenever you come up against them, it's always a good challenge. And they played some really good cricket in the first 2 games. It was nice for Australia to finish off with a win and hopefully a bit of confidence moving forward.
Chiteshwar Pujara has been retired from all formats of the cricket. So how you rate Chiteshwar Pujara as a test batter?
It was brilliant. Coming up against him, you knew he was always going to be a hard wicket to get out, and wonderful player. Got to play 1 year with him in the IPL, and he's a lovely person as well. So fantastic career.
Talking about this format, this CL T10 format, giving an opportunity for the young players to share the dressing room with you. So how you look this platform for the young athletes, young cricketers?
Yeah, look, it's been brilliant. I've been very lucky that I've got a really good bunch of guys in the dressing room that have been really helpful for me, and but being really good people as well. And I've enjoyed their company over the last 2 days.
So definitely here we can see that the way today he mentioned, the way Sean Marsh mentioned that a big win for the Australian side and his brother scoring 100 for the team. And we also know that it's going to be, this platform is going to be a big for the young cricketers, hoping that in future also we saw such leagues to give a big push to the young and budding cricketers of India. With camera person Monty, Narayan Singh, DD India, Delhi.
And former Sri Lanka all-rounder Parvez Mehroof called India the firm favourites for the Asia Cup. Speaking exclusively to DD India correspondent Narayan Singh, the said Sri Lanka could be the dark horse but must improve their batting.
Always a very warm welcome. The Asia Cup is around the corner, so which team do you think is the most balanced and is capable to lift the trophy?
I think on paper, looking at how the teams have stacked as well as coming into the tournament, the form, I think clearly India will be the firm favourites. But for me, the dark horses can be Bangladesh and Sri Lanka, because Bangladesh just beat Sri Lanka in Sri Lanka, as well as they beat Pakistan in Bangladesh in a T20 series. So they too will be high on confidence. And India, as always, with the squad what they have in the paper, the 15 players is definitely a team to watch out for. And Sri Lanka, when it comes to big tournaments, they have done well, particularly the last Asia Cup T20 which happened in Dubai.
Talking about Sri Lanka, the way we saw that a big dip in the form, especially in the T20 format, the way they lost the T20 series against Bangladesh. So do you think which are the areas of concern for the Sri Lankan team?
Batting. I thought batting was inconsistent. That's the one reason why, or the main reason why Sri Lanka lost to Bangladesh, which was a surprise, because at home Sri Lanka has a very good record in the last 2 years, especially in white ball cricket. So that's an eye-opener. It's definitely after that performance, there are some talks that some changes will happen in the squad. So, it's got to be officially announced very soon. So I think there will be some changes leading up to the Zimbabwe tour. Prior to the Asia Cup, Sri Lankan side will be playing 3 T20s in Zimbabwe and then fly to Dubai. So, all in all, I think Sri Lanka is dark horses every time.
And right now in the world cricket, who do you think one of the best all-rounders in your opinion?
I think right now, if I look at it, I think leading would be Ben Stokes, Hardik Pandya. Straight away, the two names comes to my mind. Those guys are match winners on their particular day, especially Ben Stokes, the way he has handled himself with all the injuries, playing test cricket, still captaining that side. And also Hardik, ever since he stopped playing test cricket because of his injuries, he's been wonderful. Even in the IPL, he led Gujarat Titans for a victory. He's someone, in the matter of 1 over, he can change the game with the ball and with the bat. So certainly, if informed Hardik, a fit Hardik can be the difference.
Right. One final question regarding the league CL T10. It's giving an opportunity to the young players to play under the mentorship of the international players like you. So how do you think what it means to the young players?
This is something new. Even it's for the first time I'm experiencing or being part of a softball tournament. So, it's not only about the cricket, it's about the entertainment. It comes with the entire package. And overall, I have had a wonderful time. 3 days have been good. The guys who are playing in the middle, playing their hearts out, you can see their facial expressions. They're giving their 110%. And also, it's a dream come true for the Indian guys to play alongside the international stars in the yesteryear.
Definitely a fantastic platform for the young cricketers, but most importantly, the way Asia Cup is around the corner, and we are hoping that, as Parvez said, India is the firm favourite, but the way Sri Lanka and Bangladesh has played in the recent time, definitely they too are the dark horses of the tournament. With camera person Monty, Narayan Singh, DD India, Delhi.
All right, that's all for this edition of DD India Live. We'll be back with more news as it breaks here on DD India. I'm Lipakshi Khurana from all of us here in Delhi. Thanks for watching DD India Live.